What's up, everybody?
Well, I think that the guy our producer left us. Yeah,
there he is.
So
there he is.
Thank God we have Doug. He's muted if you notice on my screen.
Well, I mean,
he's not muted.
Yeah, he's muted. Well,
I am now.
He should be.
I can't figure out how to run the damn board anymore. That's what happens when we take a week off.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
It's good evening, everybody. It's time to party. What's up, everybody?
How you doing?
Cheers! After a week off,
Salancha.
It is officially hunting season, everybody.
Yes, right. It is.
And we've been hunting.
We've been hunting.
Hunting hard.
Yes.
Veldman's already got fans.
Well, Veldman. I mean, that's why we got him.
The hunting's been so good that we have to at Veldman. We live it out, so Veldman has to go out and hunt and carry the gun.
Right.
You know, when people just call you by your last name, it reminds you of Kramer. You know
what? He ain't got the hair like Kramer does.
I mean, it's kind of a compliment and kind of an insult. I don't even know how to take that one.
I wish I had a name.
I know.
Call me by my last name because I'd like that, but my name sucks, so I don't want everybody Bohemian.
Yeah.
Like Veldman. If everybody just called me Veldman, I'd like that.
Veldman's a good last name.
It's like a rock star. They go by one name.
Cheers from Montana. Keegan, where the hell are you at in Montana? I was just there.
Oh.
Jeez.
Well, it's a big state. I'm surprised you didn't run into them.
Yeah, I pretty much met everybody. I stopped and talked to every group of hunters I seen. Almost all of them were hunting elk. I don't know why, but they were.
Because elk is delicious.
We stopped at a gas station on the way out here, and these guys had a trailer. We saw some horn in the back of the car, and I just assumed it was a mule deer. And Dave was brave enough to. I said, "Oh, you guys had some luck out there. See some horn back there." Yeah, it was a great hunt. Dave's like, "Oh, what are you guys hunting for?" I just assumed it was a mule deer. He's like, "Oh, we got a nice elk." I'm like, it was definitely. They
got a tender one.
It's a bigger elk than I've ever shot. I'll tell you that much. But nonetheless, it was like, holy cow! It would have been like a 140 mule deer.
Yeah. That's not making the book. Not making the book.
No.
I wouldn't have took a picture of it. It reminds me of that trip up. I went to my first bear was up in Manitoba. And that you guys have heard me talk about that guy, Gary Bishop, that ran that job site for years. And he would send us. Yeah. That's an endless subject. But he sent me up there. He sent me and 4 guys up there. And, you only go hunting out in the afternoon. I mean, I think we could have hunted in the morning, but they put you out about 3 in the afternoon and they come pick you up at dark. And I'm like, third night. And I'm like, it's just, I'm not a sit hunter anyway. Right. And I'm just sitting there. And finally, I'm like, oh, shit, a bear. Wow. And he said, like, if the bear's back, is higher than the barrel, it's a pretty good bear. The problem was I didn't pay attention. Most of the barrels are vertical. This barrel was laying on its side.
The size of taffy.
And I dragged, bigger than taffy, but I dragged that bear out by one paw. I think it was about 85 pounds.
So what's the size of Bravo then?
Oh, yeah, the size of Bravo. But, I mean, who's going to, other than a few countries, who's going to eat Bravo?
Wait a minute. Go back to that. I want to hear how the Wisconsin grouse opener was. Nothing but rose and a smoked dog. Yeah.
Hey, she got some Tongass gear. Shameless plug.
That's 2 bingo squares right there. Humble bag and a couple bingo squares already.
Yeah, for sure. I'm guessing that these guys are probably a little bit deprived after last week because we didn't have a happy hour last week. So they're probably a little bit charged up. So
ready to go.
Yeah. So
I don't see the usuals on here.
We could burn. Well, hopefully they're hunting, but we could probably burn up some bingo squares pretty quick.
Yeah, we could say North Dakota.
Well, that's where we're at.
Tyler, what kind of a candle are you listening or smoking next to you?
I don't have any.
Okay. Unbelievable. We're going to start a GoFundMe page just for your candle addiction.
I need some, yeah.
People are going to stop bringing you bourbon and start bringing you scented candles.
Yeah, there's bourbon in here, but it does smell a little bit like cigars, so I could actually use Ron polluted it with his damn cigar smoke. So I could use a few scented candles.
Goddamn Quonset hut. How can you pollute a Quonset hut?
It sticks to the spray foam insulation.
Oh, God.
old married couple. So basically, everybody on screen's got to hunt so far except for me. It sounds like
You shot geese.
No,
Yeah,
technically,
you gotta
I
quit
shot
playing with your car.
Yeah.
I guess I did. What's that?
So quit playing with your car. Go hunt.
Yeah, take it to a mechanic. They'll actually fix it instead of break it farther.
I haven't broken it yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
You haven't driven it yet, have you?
I have.
Then you can't talk.
See, the problem with guys like Doug and like Todd is they're so smart and they can fix so much shit that they don't trust anybody else to do this stuff for them. And dumb like me, you just hire other people to figure it out.
Yeah, that's the difference between being Dutch and not being Dutch.
I'm a broke dude trying to move up in the world, so that's how I fix everything that I.
You're not a broke dude. You just like doing everything yourself.
I don't trust anybody.
Yeah, that's tough too.
You didn't.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, got him.
it. Nope, it came back.
Oh, so you didn't get out and hunt today, Ronald. I thought you were gonna when I talked to you this morning.
I was gonna, and then my dear wife said, "Don't forget to take care." This is the whole thing. This is the acknowledgement of authorization of employer representation letter that I got from the state of Michigan, and it says like this payroll company is taking over. What does it say? They're granting letter of authority to this payroll company that I haven't used in like 8 years.
Oh, good.
And it's called Paychex. It's it's like you call in your payroll,
Mm-hmm.
and we don't know what the hell's going on. And then coincidentally yesterday, I called in payroll, meaning I called Marvin, state of Michigan, and it says you don't have to report for 2 weeks. I'm like, well, it only says that after I get done entering my information. So I think somebody not only hacked me, maybe I don't know what happened. Something's going on. So,
Ron, do you need a loan? Brent's here. I mean, he could send you some cash.
I'll be good for another week and a half. Don't worry.
Perfect.
Looks like people want to start auditioning to fill Larson's spot because he keeps missing.
Well, we got to find
open editions.
Oh,
You can only audition if you got room for multiple people to come stay, and it's in prime bird country.
Hey, we got to get to Brayden. Put Brayden's question up.
Where's Braden? There it is.
there's a North Dakota besides
Brayden. So, yeah, you don't have to go to Devil's Lake. In fact, when you suggest not go, I don't mean going anywhere in northern North Dakota. He'd be better off than dealing with all the people in Devil's Lake, right?
I would actually even go one better than that and say central North Dakota, like down around Drake, Animus, Harvey area. It doesn't get quite the pressure as Devil's Lake does. There's a lot more open land, and it is full of ducks.
Yeah.
Full of ducks.
Well, you can't go there until I get back, so everybody.
No, you're not going there anyways. You're coming out here to hunt with me where there's no birds. So
Oh, well, that makes sense.
Well, I saw a lot of coots.
there's
Lot of
coots
coots.
everywhere.
Yeah,
Yeah,
lots of
I
coots.
love coots.
shoot all day long.
And even some shovelers.
Yes, make my jerky.
I chased a shoveler in my boat yesterday trying to get it to quit eating all my freshwater shrimp out of my bluegill lake. I almost got it with the prop. Almost. Not quite, but almost. The North Dakota Game and Fish is watching that, though. I was going that direction anyways, and I was not harassing wildlife.
I was wondering if you were going to cover your ass on that one.
I don't think there's a drone video of it, but there might be.
I got sweet drone video today.
Did you?
Flew it to that Model A up there.
Really?
I flew it from the road because we didn't hunt there, and I flew it all the way out there.
Did you guys fly it over the missile silo over here and almost get arrested like Ron did?
No.
Oh,
Where's that at?
Hey, Doug, you were right.
Yeah.
all over.
Wait. Everyone quiet. Go ahead, Ron. Say that again.
I did some intel.
Doug, you were right. Go ahead and say it again.
Doug, you were right.
Okay, go ahead.
Not often. But I called Travis Frank and he goes, yeah, all of our drone photographers have a pilot's license.
FAA, yeah.
And so Matt now has a pilot's license.
Good.
So he'll come back
Before he came out.
he'll come back and redo that footage.
Sure.
Yeah, of course.
Everything will match. Perfect.
Yeah, timestamps and
Right.
geocache info.
Oh,
Oh,
hey,
yeah.
that's my kitchen.
My kitchen.
That's my kitchen.
That's over there.
Yeah,
They're right there.
I saw those guys at the grocery store tonight.
So you brought them home?
They weren't buying chicken.
Nate Akey, Brent Kroll. Cheers, boys.
Hey, how you doing, man?
Ah,
Hey, Ron.
what's going on there, boys?
Not much.
Living the dream.
We figured we had to bring on some Navda guys to make you feel comfortable. Otherwise, you would start whining or something.
Ooh, look at Marco. Just sent me. Ooh, I've got the best listeners. I get cigars in the mail. Like
Bitches. I mean, like all mine bring me good scotch and everything else, but I don't have any cigars. Brent, I think we're out, aren't we?
No, I've got you left.
Oh, all right. Well, that's tonight then.
yeah, somebody else just got a hold of me and said they want to send me some from Canada, and I said, he goes, "Is that legal?" I said, "Well, I don't think it matters. Just send me 2 Dominicans the first time and see if anybody stops you, and then start flipping me the Cubans."
Cubans will be fine.
So is that? I thought that was lifted. Can't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can.
I thought so.
Yeah, we can't actually order them in the U.S., but somebody from outside the U.S. can send them to us.
Mm-hmm.
Embargo has technically been lifted.
Well, Fargo's out of the U.S. anyway. I mean, North Dakota's really not in the U.S.
Basically, yeah.
I thought you could buy them here now.
I don't think so.
I don't think
Not
so.
true Cubans.
Really?
You can buy them in Canada.
Oh, I know that.
Right.
I thought you
Yeah.
could buy them.
You could have them shipped to you, but
I heard the Cubans weren't as good as they used to be because they've screwed up the soil so bad down there because they didn't do any crop rotation, stuff like that. They just
Really?
slash and burn. I mean, this could be bullshit too.
Well,
but
and I mean,
Probably
there
is.
is that chance.
Yeah.
But I mean, like the chance. I mean, maybe they've got new like thigh rollers, and like there's no coconut tannin.
No, I think what happened, rumor has it, they quit using thighs to roll them on, and they got a machine roller.
Well, that's the problem.
Right.
Who
So they're
doesn't
not
like
going to
no
get any of that. They're not going to get any of that suntan oil flavor
It
rolling.
doesn't matter if you're smoking pheasant thighs, rough grouse thighs, sage grouse thighs, or Cuban thighs. They all taste great.
Thighs are the best.
Yeah, I agree. So, I did we're 13 minutes into this, and I just realized people don't know. I mean, everybody knows who Brent Pike is, but
Yeah, but he looks like Gene Hackman tonight.
He looks like Gene Hackman.
from Enemy of the State. Yep. We
He's
talked
hiding,
about
he's
that.
hiding behind this microphone too.
Yeah, there we go. Well, it kind of looks like a big metal.
Yeah,
penis.
yeah.
He does anyway.
But this is Dave Veldman from Sport Dog Photography. And on the other screen down there in my kitchen, right behind us, about 35 feet, is Nate Akey and Brent Kroll, who I've just been, how long? It feels like we've been hunting together for about 28 days now at this point, but it's been 10 days?
10 days? 10 days.
Yeah, good 10 days.
Good 10 days.
Including 5 species of grouse in Montana in 6 days. And Huns, sharptails. I shot a mourning dove, so that or Cuban. All taste great. What's that?
nothing. My
And
phone's playing the stream over it. I don't know what the hell happened to it. I'm technologically.
Are you
screwing
all right?
Everything up. I'm not all right. Send help.
hold up 2 fingers if you need to send somebody to help you.
Send bourbon now.
Put one in the mail. Don't worry. It'll get
Yeah,
there.
for sure.
It should get there. It'll be broken in a big bag of glass.
That's a good. I should be on the cover of Cigar Aficionado. I'm going to write them.
I think you and Schwarzenegger should do it together, and you should actually recite the thing that he does to him and see if he punches you or not.
I don't think Swisher Sweets count as a cigar aficionado.
He does do black and milds too. So
I'm going to go
when he wants to feel classy,
I'm going to go into my humidor. You guys just chit chat.
it's basically a shoebox with some.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, what?
Wow.
Did you get a new humidor, Rob?
I've got 2 of them.
Why is it empty?
Gosh,
That's a lot of
I
cigars.
should have brought that to me.
Yeah,
What up,
Look at that.
What up, Chris Busen? Should be hunting opening day with him. That was good times.
Does he shoot some birds?
Yeah,
Does he?
he's fun to hunt with.
Yeah.
I hunt with a whole group of cops.
Oh, nice.
He's a
Well,
cop,
I
and
mean,
all his buddies are.
it's
and,
kind it's kind of handy
yeah,
because afterwards you're not going to
yeah,
get a DUI.
I felt a little intimidated, but it was fun. Oh no, we were safe.
Nice.
Oh my God, this is.
So we're gonna start hearing about some of your guys' adventures, or
Yeah.
Well, I think that we could probably regale you with a few. I think that before we even start, though, we should show the video of these two.
jumping in the water.
Yeah, because it wasn't their bravest moment.
You sent that over to him.
Of course, I sent that over to him. Are you kidding? That's
So-
why I didn't let you videotape me.
Paper, rock, scissors
No,
to
I
see if
can
we
do it
see.
now.
You said
Paper,
it.
rock, scissors. Who do we see first, Nate or Brent?
Well, I'll probably see Brent first because he's clinging to the bridge for dear life.
Scared.
All
He was
right.
scared.
I did smash a testicle trying to climb over that. I was sitting there like in complete pain and lightheaded and waiting until I could see straight before I jumped. So
Let me know when you guys can see it.
tears of fear. They were tears of pain.
Well, yeah, there were tears of fear shortly after as well.
Yeah.
I can't believe you sent that over to him.
Of course I did. Why do you think I wanted to have you guys on?
My goodness.
Douglas.
Well, yeah, Mike. I'm gonna. You know what? I hate to do this to you, but I got to dip out. My internet just crashed, and I have nothing.
No.
And now he's getting text messages.
Not for me.
Doug, killing us.
Oh,
Oh, Ron, that does look like
is
a
Doug
good
in
cigar.
is Doug in a freeze?
Oh, he's in a freeze.
Oh, yeah.
This is a Legends from Cigar International by Drew Estate. Now that guy is a guy from New Jersey that moved down to like Nicaragua and opened up his own cigar company.
Sounds like a mook.
He is a mook, but he wears a knit hat. I can't stand it, but makes a fine cigar.
What are the kinds that you've been smoking, Brent? Those are Ashtons, right?
I like the Ashton aged Maduras.
God, they take a while though.
They do.
They
Well,
take a while.
I've
They're a
got
commitment.
like the 60s right now, and so it's a good 2.5 hour cigar.
Yeah, well, I know that when we were over there in the northwest part of Montana, I think we actually, well, I know I smoked mine for 2 days,
Yeah.
and I think you smoked yours for 3.
Me?
No, Brent.
Okay.
I think so because the first night it was just too cold to sit out there for that long. We left them out. We and then the second night we tied one on and went out there. Thought it was a great idea. About 15 minutes, and then
Wait, think it through.
then thought we should go back inside again. So
Yeah, just a little side story on that. We did a podcast that night, and that's the one that's out right now. It's about the sage grouse hunt that we did in Montana. But so I told these guys I wasn't going to stay up until 2 a.m. because we did that a couple nights before, and I suffered. And it's true, we didn't stay up until 2 a.m. I think we went to bed about 3:15.
Yep.
And when we got up at 7 o'clock or 7:30 in the morning, I walked outside and I told those guys I was too drunk to operate a vehicle or a shotgun, and I went back to bed. And then those guys went and shot spruce grouse.
we did.
Oh, man.
Yeah, you couldn't get up. You were ready to go.
I was technically I was vertical, but it was not safe for me to do anything regarding anything. I don't think I could have had my shoes safely.
You have a lot of mornings. Yeah.
Just enough to let
Not like that.
Mornings that I'm near you, you do.
Well, I mean, maybe it's you then. I mean,
I've never.
Tyler, I'm going to say something. You know, you've been losing weight all year.
Yeah.
And you don't recover. You don't drink. You can't drink as much as you used to drink.
do it. Oh, here we go. Full screen. You got to go full screen, Doug.
no vertical. God.
Bent
I
over.
can't, I can't go full screen because it's vertical.
Yeah.
So
Who is this?
this is Brent.
Oh, that's Brent.
So
Right after nut crunching.
Yeah.
so Pike here was saying it didn't look like it was that high. It's pretty high.
It is pretty
If I-
high. When Tyler jumped off and it looked like it took 20 seconds for him to hit the water.
Well, I counted when you went down. It looked like 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi.
1,000, 2,000.
It's pretty
It
high.
doesn't look 40 feet.
Longer at the time.
Doug, if I send you a picture, can you put it up? That'll give it some justice.
Yeah, if you send it to Messenger.
All right, I'll do that.
Okay.
How deep is the water there?
40 feet.
Was it really?
Yeah. But the funny thing is when we start, you
This
can
is
actually
impressive.
like-
Nate
like-
stands up like one of the Walendas. Stands right on the fucking handrail.
I thought he was gonna fall off. I was ready to
Me
get
too.
A little shaky. I got a little shaky.
He added a good 6 feet to it.
How bad does it hurt your balls when you hit the water?
Not too bad.
Not too
It hurt his ass though.
Yeah. Get his legs apart.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah, you got to squeeze the butt cheeks.
Yeah.
Otherwise, there's a little water up there.
Definitely.
Get a little enema.
Free enema.
Yeah.
Like a free enema.
You forget all about the drop when you hit the 30-degree water.
Oh, I couldn't even tell. I wanted to.
Yeah.
Let me tell you about swimming in high school.
Tell us all about it, Ron.
We did that shit naked.
You and JFK.
I'll tell you, we thought about doing it naked just for you, but we thought we'd probably get arrested, so we didn't do it.
And no one yeah.
Right.
Good scar. Damn.
It was. I've done that. I think I've done that jump about 10 times now. And when we first walked out there, I was like, when we looked down, you could actually see trout swimming in the river.
Yeah.
And about that time, those guys are like, "Are you sure that we can jump off that and not die?" I was like, "Well, I'll go first."
Did you do it?
Yeah.
Oh, that time?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I went first. I was back up there video. I would.
Is it legal to jump off the bridge?
Yeah.
Okay.
In fact, I think it's encouraged. I'm not-
It's not illegal. It's frowned upon, kind of like masturbating on an airplane.
right, just like that.
You got to remember, Montana was the last state in the union to tell you that you couldn't drink beer and drive a vehicle.
Also,
So-
the first state in the union, or the last state in the union, said that there actually has to be a speed limit instead of just use your best judgment. So
So I mean, they're pretty liberal. They're pretty liberal when it comes to hijinks.
yeah.
Ronnie, you out grouse hunting tomorrow?
I am probably going to go for about 2 hours tomorrow.
What's the temperature, Ron?
What's that?
Right now?
I'll just go. Shut up, Miller. I'm going to take I'm just going to run right over to Cedar Creek, my little favorite spot.
Okay.
And I got to go, believe it or not. Sounds kind of funny, but this news reporter from Kalamazoo, Miller, come on.
Ron, I'm going to bring over some bark collars for you. Doug and I are going to pitch in and buy you some
would love
German bark collars.
I'd like a cone of silence to just come over the computer.
I think that's more expensive than a bark collar.
I'm taking this. I'm taking this news reporter out on Saturday.
Don't shoot him.
I'm trying my best. He is.
If he's a bad reporter, go ahead.
Yeah. What newspaper? Kalamazoo. Is that
a TV reporter?
Oh, TV.
His name is Travarius Wood.
That's
Haywood.
not a real name.
That's a
that is not a real
That's
name.
a stage name.
That's a
We're
ticket.
also going to have an opening for Ron's spot because he's not coming back from that, so we can start interviewing multiples.
I'm serious.
I bet you it's one of Lyndon's, buddy. He's coming for you.
No, careful. I already researched. Everything's good. He's doing an article on the black upland.
Let that dog outside, for God's sakes.
You're fucking embarrassing.
There's the first F-pop. And
I'm glad I didn't say it. Usually it's me that drops the first one.
You got to be quicker on the mute, Doug. You just got to anticipate that.
yeah, I know.
What
I should know better.
Everybody knew it was coming.
Well, apparently this guy doesn't want to see a grouse.
No, exactly. He just wants the experience. No, he's doing a whole story about being a black reporter that's getting into hunting, and I'm taking him out. So
All right.
Cool. Good for you. That's awesome.
he doesn't have a lot of expectations. I said I got the perfect place and the perfect dogs.
Yeah, if you let it come out with Tyler, you get spoiled real quick and wouldn't really realize what hunting is all about.
Right.
Did you see Doug changed his name?
To what?
Doug made his dogs.
Oh.
I didn't see it. Hey, how do you do that?
Good work, Doug. That was good. I appreciate you.
That's all that I got this week. I can't even talk.
Fair
Okay.
enough. Well, you've been working on your end all day. And that sounds worse than it is.
Hey, listen, when the rear axle is lubing,
Yeah, you leave it.
Doug's your man.
Especially when the seal's falling out.
when the seal's falling out, you got to take care of that.
Oh my word! Rock guy's back.
I was waiting for him to
good.
jump
Yeah,
on.
we've been worried. We were gonna send people.
He says I got to get Travarius on next week, give him the whole experience. Hey, maybe we'll do that one week.
That'd be fun. That'd
Travarius.
Yeah. He's got to have a nickname, right? I mean, that's too many syllables.
He does. No, he does. I said when I called him up, I said, "I'm sorry, but that's a whole lot of name to talk." He says, "My buddies call me T-Wood." I said, "Well, that sounds like a golf club."
I think I have one. Yeah.
So I just call him T. Like they call Tony Soprano. I'm just calling him T.
Sure.
Well,
What dog are you gonna hunt him with?
the only one that finds grouse that I own is Bravo.
You're not going to take out the new one?
Whoa, what?
Do you need a pointing lab to come help you?
Yeah, you might need to back up.
Couldn't hurt.
What about that new dog? What's her name, by the way?
Her name is Itty.
Like that rhymes with idiot, but
Itty. Yeah.
Just saying.
I saw her point a pigeon, and I'm going to Justin's tomorrow to run on his quail coveys with her.
Nice.
No, I'm
Justin,
sorry, tomorrow, Thursday. I'm going out.
Justin back?
Yeah, he got back. He went up and spent a couple days with Tiffany and his daughter and his mother-in-law because they were having a shit show of a rained-out UP vacation in their motorhome.
Billy Hans is back.
Wow, we got all the oldies are back.
Man.
How did he tell you how Montana was at all
He didn't.
for him?
Not good. He said, he goes, "You'd have liked it, Ron. I kept running into roosters."
We've seen a lot of pheasants when we were driving through Montana. I mean, you guys too, right?
Yeah.
I'll tell you, Ron, there was one spot over by Malta that we should have we would have never left if you'd have been with, because there was, I don't know how many mourning doves were there. That's where Brent got the first one, right, Nate? He got it with his windshield or something like that, or it flew into his door.
He got the first bird.
First
First
bird
bird in Montana was taken by vehicle. Just clipped him on the side of his truck. Yep.
Yeah. There must have been a couple thousand doves there, though. It was unreal.
Wow.
Yeah, right by Malta. Then we found out that we have to have a separate tag to shoot mourning doves in Montana. Yeah.
Like a are they
It's
migratory?
like they're shooting
migratory,
migratory.
yeah.
But it's a cheap tag, but we didn't. I don't think. Well, we certainly didn't shoot any, but I don't think we even seen any where we were hunting.
No, I never.
You want to tell us about this new dog you got?
You want to tell you about it?
Or her? Tell us about her.
Well, there's people that get into the breed that I'm not quite sure what they're expecting. And I think the dog, from what I understand, was not a fit for the husband, but the wife really loved it. And they were cutting back on dogs, and they only wanted it to go to somebody who knew the breed. And she's here. She's acclimated. She's just as goofy as the rest of mine. And when I first met her, she was kind of like, like, oh, okay, that's what it is. She's real timid.
Like all women around Ron. Yeah.
Not
Ron and Joe
when I
Biden.
not when I was younger, but
Yeah.
but she's had 4 or 5 people come by here in the kennel. She walks right up to everybody. There's a true thing. There's sometimes you have a dog. The dog doesn't like you. You don't like the dog. The dog knows that you and it's just not a fit. And this dog's acclimated. I would take her out tomorrow, but I'm just going to take her to Justin's first. It's a pretty safe spot. So is where I'm going to go. But you can see everything at Justin's, So yeah, I got pretty good expectations of her.
Nice.
He says she doesn't like ducks. I'm like going, well,
You don't hunt ducks.
I don't hunt a lot of ducks. And he said, well, I couldn't do NAVDA with her. I said, well, you probably took a dog being a Bronco and you probably shoved a duck. Not shoved, but if you tried to introduce a duck to some dog and you did it wrong, it's just like anything. I remember Lisa Pure's husband, Pete, he was getting ready for a NAVDA test and he started training for the drag. And it was like 100% refusal. I mean, you bring a duck out, I ain't going nowhere near it. He had to go to the pet store, get a rabbit, kill it, and bring a rabbit for the drag.
Really?
Yeah, it's legal in NAVDA rules. Most people just don't need to do it. But yeah, so I'm not worried about it. I'll show her some ducks next year.
Went to the pet store and bought a rabbit. That's pretty funny.
It was a white and black rabbit, and so he's when in the test format. So one judge or a judge and apprentice will put a leash on that dead bird or dead rabbit in this case, and you drag it, 150 yards and go hide. And as the judge is walking away with it, I'm going, little bunny foo foo hop. What da da da. But you know what? His dog ran up, got that rabbit, picked it up, and brought it like nothing. Dog would not touch a duck.
Are you going to run this new dog through NAVDA then?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
How old is she?
Yeah, how old is the dog, Ron? How old is
She's 2 years old. She just had her birthday yesterday.
Nice.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So, Brent and Nate,
the NA.
Oh, she already did her NA test, but she hasn't gone any further.
would she pass her NA test?
She got a 1 in field,
Oh, really?
which is, if you saw the scorecard, you're like, wait a minute. And he told me what happened. He says the dog literally stayed away from him and did not hunt anywhere near him. Got a 4 in pointing, got a 4 in water, even though it doesn't like to swim. Got a 4 in nose, got a 3 in tracking, and got a nick and desire, and it got a 1 in field search.
How does that happen? Like,
I called.
Isn't it desirable for it to actually want to be away from you when it's hunting?
Yeah, but I think there was just some. I don't know.
You need to find that judge and just yell at him.
No, I called Wendy McIntosh. She goes, Ron, I kind of remember. But I was, I looked up the 3 judges' names. So I still got one of the other judges is the president of NAVDA, and I got to call him up and say, do you remember a goofy Bronco that got a 1? I mean, you never remember the good dogs.
Right. Right. Yeah. They're all goofy.
But if you usually remember a 1 in field, like there had to be a reason. And it wasn't a bootlicker. It was gone. It was just gone.
That would be the opposite of most Broncos.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah. Like that would be a good Bronco.
I might be onto something here.
I think so. Yeah. Like if that dog just had a little bit lower cooperation and a 1 in field because it was too far away from you, that's a dog I may have. Yeah. I'll keep that dog.
Yeah.
But speaking of rabbits though, Nate and Brent, we seen some in Northwest Montana that I was waiting for their German dog to kill a retrieve. Rabbits? No.
Yeah. Well, Tika's got a little. When she gets on fur, you know it immediately because there's a lot of yelping going on. She sounds like a poodle running through the woods. So
I've heard that dog in a crate. There's a lot of yelping going on.
That's true. She's got a little anxiety there, I think. But yeah, when she gets on fur, she's taking off, and you know what's going on. Yeah. We hit a number of rabbits.
I think he's talking about the place that we stayed at with
that's right. Those
12 tame rabbits that were just wandering around.
That was a bad deal.
Yard. Yeah.
Between his drill project in the garage and the rabbit.
So I'm going to lay out the scene for you guys. So our good buddy Wes Larrabee, who's right out here on the porch right now, he sent us up to this area in Northwest Montana that is crawling with grizzly bears, wolves, and cougars.
Oh, great.
But he did say that we would shoot spruce grouse, rough grouse, and maybe some blues, and we did 2 of the 3.
Right.
And I was like, okay, so where'd you stay up there? He's like, well, we stayed at this really cool place. You can rent a log cabin, pretty cheap. We're like, oh, we're in. Perfect, because we don't want to get a hotel room. And you can actually talk, by the way. Don't worry about it. Everybody's used.
Bringing drinks.
Yeah, he's delivering cocktails.
Hi, Ron.
What up, Todd?
But so we come pulling up to this place. So first we Google it, and it takes me and Nate to this place that's a scene straight out of Wrong Turn or Deliverance, one or the other. I mean, like when we turn off the highway, we can hear freaking banjos. It's legit scary, and it's dark. It's like what, 10 o'clock at night, Nate?
That lady haunts me to this day. But yes, it was about 10 o'clock we rolled in.
So we literally drive through her backyard, and we're like, God, I hope this isn't it because we ain't staying here. And we go to back out. Well, Nate's got this trailer on, so it takes him a little bit of time to get turned around or whatever. We come driving by, and there's this lady standing on the back porch. And I roll down my window, and I'm just like, hey, sorry, the Google took us here trying to find these cabins. She's just like, well, this ain't fucking it.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, oh, God, okay.
Or like, what are you guys doing here? And then he said, but she yelled something, and I was like, we need to go.
Good. And so at this point, Brent's kind of lost. Like Brent went to look for bear spray in Kalispell, and he hasn't caught up to us yet. So we're like, we have zero service. We can't even text him telling him, hey, don't go to where the directions take you because it's not right. And so we pass him on the way out of this place. Sure as shit, he pulls into the same place, goes in there. He doesn't get yelled at because he never stops, but we end up pulling into this place. And as soon as we get out, me and Nate, all we can smell is weed. And we're like,
skunk there than I've ever been around.
and so this guy shows us into this cabin, and it's nice. I mean, it's really nice. You know, it's a 3-bedroom. There's like a queen size, 2 king size beds, and a set of bunk beds, and a full kitchen, everything else.
Yep.
You're like, well, it smells like weed. We'll deal with it. Whatever. Who cares? And we kind of get set up, and the next morning we wake up and like Brent's got his dogs on tie-out stakes to feed them or whatever. And there's these big, giant domestic rabbits like running all over the yard. And we're just like, this ain't going to end well. But no rabbits were harmed in the making of this video. So
yeah. Luckily.
Yeah.
It's close.
Well, the rabbits kind of knew their way around the property too. When the dogs were out, it seemed like they kind of
disappeared.
Yeah. They had it figured out.
Yeah. It was a good exercise in healing for you because you walk outside and the dogs are just like there's rabbits everywhere.
Everywhere. Exactly.
So what you're saying is you had bunny for breakfast.
Well,
we could have.
We talked to the guys. We said, hey, we can try to keep our dogs away, but if one of your rabbits goes towards the dog, we're gonna have an issue. It's not gonna end well.
Right. But in his defense, he's like, well, that could happen.
Yeah, he didn't care much about it.
But so Brent and Nate, tell him. So we went up there on Wes Larrabee's recommendation. How close was he to the pin that he dropped?
We talked to him before we left, and I told Wes, I said, I don't want to pin to roundabout. I want you to put it right on the birds because we need to make this easy. And he said, as soon as you get off the pavement, all you got to do is get up the road just a little bit on that dirt road, and you'll find birds. Well, we didn't even get off the pavement, and you and I, Tyler, stopped, and we're like, is that a bird on the road right there? And we're looking, you get the binos out, and sure as shit, there's a rough grouse just hanging out on the road. Yep. We parked and got the puppy out. We got
the puppy out.
That's right.
And then I mean, we went up with the
puppy is the nickname for the coach gun. Just so everybody knows.
I assume.
Pup gun, coach gun, whatever.
Hand me the puppy. I got it.
Well,
these birds?
Oh yeah.
Are they?
Well, they did flush hard though.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
They just sit there
They
and wait
did
for
not
you?
know, and they did not jump up into trees neither.
Oh, okay.
There was like 6 of them.
Yeah, maybe more, maybe a few more. And then
Yeah.
I shot mine on the flush. Roxy was there. It wasn't a point necessarily, but the birds went up, and I shot mine on the flush, and then we headed out and got the other dogs.
Right. Well, yeah. My sophisticated English dog, Rusty, was just screaming in the kennel when we got so we come pulling in there. We literally pull onto the gravel road. We're like, oh, well, there's a bird. Well, let's back up here and park right here in this campground with these nice people. And we go pulling in and we park and like, hey, I'm just going to walk up the road and go hunt some birds. You mind if we park here? And they're like, no, go ahead. As soon as we get away from, and we're like,
Those guys,
oh my gosh.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe not just as the people that were next to us with fishing last.
Take a rum old fashioned.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I'll try it.
I'll take one too, Brent.
You got it.
Got him sending it.
The ice might be melted by the time it gets to you.
That's unacceptable.
The flavors will meld though. It'll be worth it.
Well, but yeah, shout out Wes for putting us right on the birds.
On the birds. Like literally
on the
them.
birds.
Yeah.
Yeah, literally on the birds.
Do you want to share the pin?
I will tell you. It was at Onyx.
Yeah.
Yeah, it worked with Tyler too.
I dropped
he
him right
literally
off.
dropped a pin on some birds for us today, so
Did
it works. Yeah, oh yeah, like pretty much on the birds.
Nice.
We hit where the pin was, and there was a nice little covey there, so it worked.
Yeah, I do what I can.
Yeah.
You know, these guys can't find birds without it, so I got to give them something.
That's true. We found sharp tails. We can't find
I'm just happy that you're shooting some birds this year, Veldman.
That's
Like
right.
you shot those three
We
out
caught
bow
three
last
last
year,
year.
and that was it.
What is that per bird if the out of state tag?
A lot.
30,
Yeah,
40 bucks a bird.
$50 a bird. Yeah.
I'm having a good year.
Worth it.
But you know, we're talking about up there in Northwest Montana. Our whole Montana trip wasn't all rainbows and sunshine for the three of us, me and Nate and Brent, because the sage grouse portion of our trip sucked specifically for me. Less like Nate shot one
Tyler
of the
didn't get a bird early, right?
Nate shot one of the first walk. I didn't see a bird till day.
Right.
Like I was like 15 miles in before I saw a bird.
Yeah, you were as happy as you could be while biting your tongue for how pissed you were that you hadn't seen a bird.
I think I need sutures in my tongue from biting it so hard.
You're like, I'm so happy for you, Nate.
I'm so happy for you. God damn it. I can't stand how happy I am for you.
Right. The subtitle said "F you, Nate."
It
Yeah,
didn't want the subtitles. That was at the bubble coming out of the top of my head. But it was pretty cool though. Walk one, day one, he shoots the sage grouse, and then thankfully, for me anyways, it makes me feel a little bit better. He didn't shoot any more sage grouse on the trip.
I did.
So he peaked early. But the big takeaway for me from Montana, as far as that portion of it, was there was a lot of sharptails out there.
There were. The numbers were high.
The numbers were good. Better
Same
than they were.
kind of covers here.
No, all sagebrush.
All sagebrush?
We
Oh, the sharptails and the sagebrush.
we were hunting them while we were. I mean, well, Brent, you can actually talk about it a little bit because you were out there 2 years ago with Craig and Nate when you guys kind of started hunting out there.
Yeah.
And you guys shot some sharptails last year, but that first day, you and Nate smoked them. I mean, like you. So, Rob, you'll get a kick out of this. So, Brent could have actually shot a limit of Montana sharptails, which is that many, 4. So he was thinking that it was the North Dakota limit, which is that many, and so he stopped shooting birds after when he didn't need to.
I think 4 birds went up right around you, within feet of you, and you never shot.
There were multiple birds. I shot. 2 went up. I bang, doubled, cracked it open, reloaded, because Tyler has pounded this into me.
Eat it into your head.
Gun shooting, you crack open and you reload and you close, and more birds got up. I dropped one and I just cracked it open, took the shells out, and basically put the gun away. And watched the rest of the birds. And an hour later, Tyler's walking along with us the whole time. And an hour later, he's like, well, the limit is 4.
I gave serious consideration to not telling you until we got back to the truck, because I'm pretty salty at this point, because we were 9 miles into the day, and I'd seen exactly that many birds fluck.
You had one.
What's that?
At that point, you had 1 bird in the back.
I shot 1, but I'd only seen the 2 sharptails go up. And on top of that, I hadn't seen 0.1 out of any of my dogs. So the fact that these knobbed and short hairs are out there just ripping it up and pointing birds, I was a little salty about that.
Shot the bird over. It was Hattie, right?
Yeah.
It was Hattie.
Yeah.
So you shot the bird over Hattie. I don't know how you did the point. She was locked up, waiting for you to come and get it.
I didn't even see the dog on point.
I never did it. Die. Go to the dog.
We
Yeah.
thought
I'm just walking that way, and all of a sudden the bird went up because I'm pretty sure I was staring at my feet at that point, and it was the funniest part about that whole thing was that I shot that bird with improved cylinder at a long ways with that Boss 7, and it just kind of hung there, and I was like, that bird's hit, and then it literally like fighter planed into a hillside dead.
Yeah.
And like we're all just kind of standing there watching it, and Nate's dog Tika went out and made like probably a 200-yard retrieve on that bird and brought it back. And I put it in my pouch, and I just walked up on the hillside, and I never said a word. And then like 15 minutes later, I'm just hearing boom, 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 and I'm like, God! So mad. It was that walk. I also had to pull like 60 cactus thorns out of Bo's legs and feet.
that was really hard walk.
It was a nasty walk. Yeah.
Do you not wear boots in Wyoming? Is it not the type of? I mean,
Dog boots?
yeah.
You know, so we probably should have. So the first walk that we made wasn't bad at all. Like that first spot, it was really pristine, beautiful sagebrush. There was some rock, some cactus, but it wasn't too bad. But that last spot that we went to was terrible on the first day.
Spot we went to. The second
Yeah,
spot
it was last. It was the second.
is what wrecked CJ and Lucy. And Lucy didn't hunt again until
Today,
yesterday.
yeah.
Well, today it was her first.
Today she was a rock star.
Yeah,
Got a short
decent
run in, but
hunt.
got you your limit. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's right. Yeah. That second walk sucked as well. But the third walk, that last walk that we made up there where you guys shot all the sharp tails, that was the worst. That was full of cactus.
Yeah. I mean, I was picking out cactus from all the way up by Tika's elbow by the end of it. I mean, it was.
I don't. Yeah, that's terrible.
I know.
Yeah.
You guys love your dogs.
That's why I don't want to hunt sage grouse ever again.
No question.
I don't want to go to Montana. No.
Just miserable.
Really?
Yeah.
What kind?
It's all cactus and rock. One guy shot a rattlesnake while we were there. I mean, it's rough, man. It's not easy on dogs. However,
over by Great Falls, Tyler.
we were west or east of Great Falls.
East of Great Falls.
Well, Western
Yeah, one of those Westeries.
of Great Falls.
We would have. Yeah.
Central Montana.
Yeah.
I got you.
So, like the crazy part about it is that while we're struggling through this, Wes and my other buddy Nate Burbach and then his friend Aaron, they make one walk the first day, shoot 3 sharp tails, and one walk in the afternoon, and they shoot 6 sage grouse, and they see like 40. So they're like, "Oh yeah, we've seen them all over the place." I haven't seen one yet. We're 10 miles in. Day two. So first day we get there Saturday, it's 97. The second day we're there hunting, it got up to 80. And the third day we were there, the high was 42. And it actually snowed not far from where we were at. And it rained torrentially until like 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah.
It was terrible. And so we sent so the day before when Nate shot his sage grouse, we ran into this young couple, super nice people. They'd shot they come walking out of this walk carrying like all these sharp tails and sage grouse and shit. They don't even have vests on at all. And we're gonna be giggling. They're just like dragging shotguns. It's hilarious. And they got this big kind of fat yellow lab.
Yeah.
Hippopotamus.
Kind of. And like we're talking to them, and they're like, "Yeah, we just walked this," and they watched Nate shoot his sage grouse. They were cheering him on and shit. It was really cool.
It was very cool. It was very cool. They were able to see. Yeah.
And,
Crazy.
we talked to them. They're like, "Yeah, we were just out here." And so the next day, we send
Drink bitches here, I guess.
Thanks, Todd. Appreciate that, man. Drink delivery, I think, is on the bingo squares there.
It is.
Yeah, my wife's out of town, so don't expect that.
But we got
I didn't say where's Leadon tonight.
Yeah. But so we send Nate and Wes and his buddy Aaron to that spot that those guys hunted the day before because they said they got into a couple of sharp tails and huns, and they also shot a sage grouse out of there. They went in there and they hammered sage grouse. Like they're like, oh, we got dogs on point
What's the
from the
limit?
start, 2 per person.
Person.
And they're like, we got dogs on point from start to finish. We probably saw 70 birds. Me and Nate are up walking through the same god awful sagebrush that we walked the day before.
Well, it's
Yeah.
sage. Why wouldn't it be in sage? You know,
Right.
it doesn't make sense.
Well, I could have saved you some time learning that from Wyoming.
Oh,
Well, next time, let us know. Hold it out.
so those guys, Wes and Nate and Aaron, they made 3 walks. They shot 12 sage grouse. They shot a 3-person limit 2 days in a row in 3 walks. That's all they walked. Me and Nate and Brent, we walked 9.8 miles the first day and 6.8 the second. And I saw exactly 3 sage grouse flush, and we shot all 3 of them. I shot 2 and Brent shot 1.
How big was one of the ones you shot there, Ty?
Roughly the size of a good-sized hun. About this big.
Sage grouse?
Yeah.
I thought they're
He
huge.
still had a little,
Female was pretty good size.
still had a little eggshell on his cheek.
So I don't know what it is about the last week. It's got to be because these 2 assholes are here. But so
Tyler was on a quest to do the baby slam.
Yeah.
yeah,
I can help you with the sharp tail baby slam. I got a couple of those the other day.
Yes.
so the sage grouse one was like, of course, I got Bo out, and then Brent's got Tika and Hattie out, and all 3 German dogs are over there by Brent, like 250 yards away. And I look up, and it's like, oh, well, there's a sage grouse. Hadn't seen one the whole trip. Don't have a dog anywhere near me. I shoot the first one. Bo goes and brings it back. And just as he's going to drop it in my hand, another one goes up, and I shoot that one. And the third one goes up. Brent shoots that one. And when one of Brent's dogs, I think it was Tika, right, Brent?
Yep.
Brought you that second one that I shot. Brent's like, you shot a sharp tail. I was like, no, I don't think so. And I went over. It was a very immature sage grouse. But
Small.
You remember when Justin and I were up running with you a couple weeks back?
yeah, I do. Yeah, vaguely. Yeah.
We're seeing the sharp-tailed coveys, and they're not going far. And the hun coveys, some of the hun coveys just kind of spring out of the grass and light back down. I would love to know why they open the prairie birds so early.
In Montana or here?
Here, you and Montana. Why do they do that?
I'll tell you. I mean,
They're not migratory. They don't leave.
We've had some. I mean, well, we'll talk about this in a little bit, but I mean, we shot some huns today that were full size birds. We actually shot a 7-man limit of huns today.
Nice.
Seriously?
In 3 walks. Yeah, it's pretty sick.
We shot a 3-man limit yesterday in 1 walk.
Yeah. But we seen and the cubbies were nice sized birds. We didn't shoot any little birds. However, we have shot some immature sharp tails. But
There's
but
like small little
quail
birds.
size. Yeah,
Well, they're like hunt size.
I mean, I get it. It's going to happen. It's going to happen in September. But
sure.
my question is, what was the logic back in the day for letting you shoot any bird that
Money.
Yeah, I think the only reason they haven't opened up pheasant season this early is because you can't tell if it's roosters or hens. So I don't think they really. I don't think they really give a shit, if the birds are full sized or not. I think that they need to start making some income, just like Brent said. And
they'll get the people there. They'll get the people there at the end of September or the beginning of October.
Sure, but now like Montana though, Montana starts September 1st every year, no matter what the day is. And there's so that's 12 days earlier than us. And so if everybody's going over to Montana to go shoot all their birds, there's no way North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska, Kansas, every place else isn't going to be like, well, you're not going to get all that money. We're going to get some of that. So, I mean, like,
it feels a little like pedophilia.
I don't know what that feels like, Ron.
Yeah.
I mean, you're targeting immature subjects.
Well played, Brent. Well played.
They're certainly immature, but So just to kind of finish up on the whole Montana thing before we go to break here, because we're going to have definitely going to have a a pee break. I will tell you that my favorite part of Montana was our last hunt. Our bluegrass hunt was spectacular.
A lot of birds. And then Greg was able to meet with us, which was fun as well.
Yep,
Yeah.
Greg from 283. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, we hit a ton of birds. I mean, it was just like rough grouse hunting,
But they were bigger.
bigger in, I don't know, six
Easier
times
to-
the birds you
Easier
normally
to hit. Easier to hit.
Yeah.
Not a discover they weren't. Actually, you should ask Brent Kroll how easy they were to hit.
They were a bit of a struggle.
What was that?
They were a little bit of a struggle, Ron.
About how many did you hit?
My bluegrass hunt was very similar to
My sage grouse hunt.
your bluegrass season, Ron.
Yeah.
I kind of got spoiled because I limited out on the very first walk with 2 different dogs. I went and shot. I shot two on the first part, and then I went back and shot Rusty.
Let's talk about you limiting out though. We come out here and we're grouse hunters, and we get into the grouse woods, and we kind of know what we're doing.
I hate it.
And Tyler, he's a Westie at heart, and birds start going up, and we're trying to keep a line because you can't see each other in the woods, just like any grouse hunter knows. You keep that line.
Can you, Russ?
Yeah. But then Tyler, he sees birds flushing out in the distance, and he hauls ass all the way about 100 yards over there to go where
I'm there to kill birds.
where the hell is that? And he's shooting up a storm.
So he ends up directly in front of a line of 3 people in the middle of it, just shooting.
And you think that I wasn't planning that? I was like, them some bitches are going to birds right at me, and I'm just going to stand here and whack birds. No, I have no idea, and like it's definitely something that's worth mentioning because I'm not comfortable in the rough grouse woods. Like if I'm going to hunt in the grouse woods, I want to hunt with like 2 other people, because if you get more than 2 dogs on the ground and more than 2 other people, I'm not used to having to when we're hunting a field up here, I can see the entire field. I can see the people. Like when and we were kind of hunting that like a rough grouse cut. It was kind of it was a cut, right, Brent?
It was a pine
6 years, 6 year old.
Oh no, I bet that stuff grows slow. I bet
You think
that.
it's
20. Yeah, we're 8,200 feet.
But it was.
So I have no idea what the like. And Brent's like, just follow. And first of all, he was a little owly because he hadn't shot a bird yet, and I was almost done. So he's like, just follow the cut line. I was like, I can't see it. And we have 4 guys, and then plus Greg's wife is following behind us, and I am super uncomfortable about the whole thing. I can't see dogs, can't see people, nothing. And so when we get back to the truck, I walk over to Brent, and I was like, I don't want to do that anymore. I'm just going to take Bo, and I'm going to go back up here because there was some stuff up here that we didn't hit, and you guys can go and do your thing because like smaller groups just make more sense to me anyways. And I went up, got a bird, actually 2 birds pointed over Bo. I shot one of them, and I was done. And you guys moved quite a few birds on that second piece too, though.
Yeah.
We did.
Probably 6, probably half dozen. Yeah.
Yeah, not as bad. I bet we moved 20 out of that first section.
Yeah, the first section, a lot of birds.
You have to ask Ron about his first bluegrass hunting experience with Steve Ranella and Meat Eater, because he had a very similar experience to us where you just drive up, get out of the truck, and shoot birds 200 yards from the truck.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like those kind of.
We did that experience.
We did that today.
Right.
When you left, I told him we pretty much shot birds where he dropped a pin for us. So
How far did you have to walk, Ron?
3 hours uphill. It's 3 hours uphill.
Okay.
that's
then,
good for you.
it's great for me. Great. Yeah. Enjoyed the hell out of it. But compared to the rest of you, I am probably the only guy on television that shows 2 blue grouse with 2 perfect shots dropping out there.
Well, you're also
they can do with editing on television. I don't believe you.
probably loud on television. So, I mean, there's that.
All right, guys. I think we're at the top of the hour. We're going to take our break and get a refill. And then somebody was asking about wanting to ask a dog question. I think it was Hillbilly Hunts.
Perfect.
But and then we got
Brent here. We got a guy who actually knows how to train dogs.
yeah.
Not this Brent.
No, the other Brent.
Yeah, not that Brent. That Brent.
And then Jeff was asking about tong. He wants a Tongass Dembo. So I don't know if they've got any out there.
We've got some Tongas here.
Okay,
Perfect.
so might maybe grab that if you get time. But
I got my Tongass right over there.
we'll see you guys in about 2 minutes.
Perfect.
Mwah.
That's my shot. My shot.
I don't know how anything could be as.
Yep, we needed to hear that, Ron. We've been hearing it. We've all been listening to you whisper sweet nothing into Taffy's ear.
Best baby in the whole world.
We back already?
How many birds you kill over that dog, Ron?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. She's
More
my
than Rocco, right?
No, that's my Cocker Spaniel. Broncos don't find any birds.
Here.
Neither does a Cocker Spaniel.
This dog, her eyes will melt you.
She is a sweetheart.
She just stares at you like with these big brown, like, no wonder why John Wayne fell in love with all the Latino women with them big brown pool eyes. Just looked at him and melted his heart. I don't care if this dog ever hunts. I love her so much.
You know what I did with the last dog I loved so much I didn't hunt?
Yeah, you sold it.
I gave it away.
You gave it away. So I'm going to give you guys a little grouse report, not from me. And this is from somebody from our NAVDA training grounds that I've known for a long time. I'm just going to say roughly an hour north of me. You know, I'm not trying to, I don't know the coordinates, so I'm not going to try to say or not say. But there was a pretty good gypsy moth infestation in this area. So that means the oak leaves got all chewed up. All the sunlight got to the ground. All the ground cover grew up. And he pushed 18 grouse in an hour. Yeah.
Nice.
Wow. And it just goes to show you how much habitat has the you know, I mean, it doesn't matter what it is. Habitat is everything.
Doug, can we mute for a second so you can give us the coordinates to that?
I cannot do that. I cannot do that. But then the next week he went out and just all his usual spots. He goes like, I don't think this year is going to be anything special. But this one area where the gypsy moths came in and killed all the oak trees, everything grew up and every grouse in the area moved into them.
Hey, we're going to need you to take that shirt off because it's actually fucking up our reception.
Yeah, way too loud. Way too loud.
If it comes off, it's staying off, guys.
Well, I mean,
he looks like he rode in on a burro.
I've got the button in position if it comes off.
Oh man, my fiance just texted me and she said, "What the hell?" Immediately as I came into frame.
I thought you were married.
Not yet, not yet. But
She's
soon.
still got time to smarten up.
She still has time to figure out where she's
He's wearing a shirt like that, and you won't be.
Yeah, that's probably true, Doug. Exactly.
It's going to be a Southwestern themed wedding.
This is
Please tell me that's made of fleece.
Pike Gear is going to be releasing shirts like this real soon.
Hey, keep that quiet. That's the new Alpaco line of
This is the new never get laid shirt again.
Yeah,
That's right.
it's for Hunt Douglas.
Pike Gear is going to have you covered if you go to Mexico for a dove hunt. They got you covered.
Right.
I like it, Nate. I'm just
Yeah.
People have been asking for a camo, and that'll blend you
That's
right
camo,
in certain
yeah,
certain
yeah.
parts of the country.
Well,
So Grant Guy asked a question: are the Tongass pants waterproof from the inside as well? I guess I'm not really sure what that
I think he's
means.
talking about
When you take this with pants, you're going to seep out.
So the Tongass pants are waterproof, breathable, and Dave was wearing them, and Todd was wearing them all day today,
You're
and
wearing them right now?
it got to
No, I took 'em-
70 degrees,
I went to my drifters for tonight.
and they,
Yeah, they really don't get hot. Last 2 days it was pretty warm, and I barely started feeling the heat after several miles. But I mean, they breathe just fine.
Oh, Ron told me they actually feel like hunting pants.
they're,
These feel like yoga pants.
yeah,
they feel
they're more substantial. I mean, they don't weigh a whole lot more than the Kiowa pant. They're like 16, 17 ounces, but they're definitely a more
Kiowa
substantial
pants.
pant. Like
Yeah.
15.
So it's literally like an ounce.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
it's like
a
2
pound.
ounces
they're like,
more. Yeah,
yeah.
they wear real nice for the heat.
Yeah.
I mean,
They're a nice pant.
If it's 90 degrees out, you're gonna be hot no matter what you do if you're walking. So, but I mean, for
72
60
degrees, I'm gonna be hot
Right.
no
That's
matter what I do.
I'm like you, Tyler. I sweat
sweat,
like
yeah.
crazy. If it's
But-
above 65, I'm sweating. If it's above 60, I'm sweating.
it was 70 the last 2 days, and it was
Jackson.
I didn't see what that said at all. Contraception built in, new line of
Well, it'd be nice if he could spell.
I like it.
That's pretty good.
I like it.
Just yell.
Oh,
So Tyler, who's why are Brent and Nate in the kitchen?
well, we figured that if we all were in the garage, then it would be even more obnoxious with all of us talking over each other than it already is.
Okay.
And plus, if they were at the other end of the table with a laptop, it would be like you and Utzinger when like you get that noise
Echo.
return or whatever. So we just had we banished them to the house.
I got it.
Can you see that question, Brent?
What is it?
Best pike pants for Wisconsin cattails.
I would have to say the Tongass pant for that. We've also got a new pant called the North Cut that'll be coming out here probably 4 to 5 weeks, which is the really the guys are asking for these heavy duty Briar pants. Well, these will be it. We've sourced some special stretch Cordura along with a stretch nylon facing that it's going to be the pants that guys are really looking for heavy duty thorns, briars, beating up that stuff and, treated with a really good DWR so they won't absorb any moisture and stuff like that.
What's DWR?
Durable water repellent.
They should make boots out of that.
It's the same stuff they spray my waterfowl gear with.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's good shit.
It's not all created the same. I can tell you that much. Cheap shit. They basically spray Scotch Guard on. The really good stuff. I mean, they go through multiple coatings and they bake it on and all this other crap, and it lasts through multiple washings and it works much better.
Are they a warmer version? I'm not sure what Jeff's asking. Is he meaning the Tongass or these new pants?
The Tongass, yeah, I mean they're a little bit, they're going to wear a little warmer than the Kiowa. I mean the Kiowa pant is, I mean they're basically air conditioned pants. I mean they've got little tiny micro holes that are woven into the fabric. So I mean for early season prairie hunting, there's nothing better. I mean there really is nothing better.
I'll tell you though, I wore my Kiowa pants from the time that I got them from you last year in October through December, and that's going to have something to do with the fact that I'm a fat bastard, but also the fact that. Out of everything that gets cold when I'm hunting, the legs are the last thing that get cold.
you get warm when you're walking. You're warm
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like we had some days in December last year, and I'm a firm believer in the fact that humidity is key. If it's 20 degrees and humid outside, it feels really cold.
Really cold, yeah.
But when we had a couple days in December when we were chasing late season pheasants where it was like 2 below, but there was 0% humidity, there was no wind, and the sun was up, I was wearing this and a long sleeve shirt over top of or underneath of my Pike gear shirt.
Yeah.
I was fine.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So, I mean, the thing that people get cold and wet from is the fact that, cotton canvas stuff,
it stays wet.
It stays wet
and
all day
freezes,
long. I mean,
yeah.
you've seen the Kiowa pant from, early morning wet dew. You're soaked. You get in your car, you go to your next spot, they're dry.
This tastes like Dr. Pepper.
It's unbelievable.
It's,
Isn't it?
no, it's delicious, isn't it?
It tastes like
Yeah.
Is there
Todd
vanilla
people-
and nutmeg in here? Cinnamon?
No, there's
It's a little much simple.
Well, I
syrup.
mean, there's a little bit of simple. Todd puts a little too much simple syrup in it for me.
Sounds like they're making drinks in your old candle holders.
Yeah, Captain Miller Light there, speaking from the heart.
Hey, Brent, are the Tongas in stock and are they shipping?
We've got some in stock. We're literally building them every week. I'm getting a fresh shipment in every Friday. We have some ship dates on the website. So if guys are looking for stuff, I mean, we should have those updated weekly on when new stuff is coming in and when they're going to be shipping. So we've got some in stock. My daughter's actually doing our fulfillment right now for me while I'm gone. And she said, "We're down to the last pair, Dad." I'm like, "All right, well, we've got more coming in on Friday." I mean, we just hired a new sewer this week. We've got, people just working round the clock building this stuff, and we're just selling
That's
as
my
fast as
new
we
hat,
can.
actually. Give me that, God damn it.
Well, Brent, I got bad news for you.
Yeah.
Your sewer is rolling some cigars for me this week, and that's why you're falling behind a little bit.
That's not true.
So you're saying they're imported? No.
No. She lives right here in Grand Haven, and I said I need some cigars rolled. I don't care if you got to sew the rest of these pants up. I wanted to air that laundry right there.
As long as you're taking care of Ron, that's all that matters.
That's exactly right. I'll give you guys. I want to give a little testimonial. I keep talking about, the Kiowa pants, and they're so goddamn light and comfy, and no one thinks they're Briar proof. No one thinks they're, they're not Levi's. They're super comfy light pants, but for some reason, the Tongass pants makes me feel like it's a hunting pant, but it's still not hot. But I just like having that better protection, and they really are like uber waterproof because my dog knocked a whole Diet Coke on my lap today, and it all went repellent right off the front of the damn pants. So
see, you actually need to have waterproof pants just for the drool that comes off those dogs. Not even for
that rock, man. It gets like,
Oh yeah, you'll get 12 inches of drool off those things.
Right. Now, if drool can't get through them, you ain't got to worry about dew. You ain't got nothing to worry about.
Tyler, drop those flaps.
I see that West Texas.
Hold on.
How do the Kiowa pants hold up in West Texas? I've never hunted West Texas. I can tell. I mean,
same as Oklahoma.
I hunt Panhandle of Oklahoma about 20 days a year, chasing bobwhites, blues, and a few roosters. And the nylon facing is very lightweight, but it's really durable.
Okay. He's messing up her hat. Flip it up. Put
It's
it on.
my hat now.
It's your hat.
So put it on.
Okay.
Now take this thing. It just slides right down over
slides
yours.
down over yours.
Shit. Okay.
That's how you gotta retie the front now. But
Well, fine.
that's how Crommers work.
Well, I've never had.
It's a
You're not a Youper. That's why.
It's a Michigan classic.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. You'll be set.
Hey, I think we should have a euchre tournament later. I know that might be a little side thing, but me and my buddy Nate Burbach beat the shit out of the Michigan guys the other night. So North Dakota is up.
Be careful. Be careful.
We're up 2-1, Michigan.
Challenge.
And that was best 2 out of 3, and you barely did it.
Barely enough. All right. I had to explain to him the rules.
Yeah, but you table talk the whole time
and
too.
Nate had to run to Wes. He's like, "What do I do with Trump?" Or "What is Trump?"
And see, I saw a mouse.
Yeah, mouse is right there.
I also see, and the thing is, Brent, is that he actually knows how to play, but we just thought that we'd get away with it
Yeah. Okay.
Tabletop.
Whatever you want to believe, my man.
How does the
People
North
are pretty upset that you don't know how to wear a storm
All my
gear.
friends are Michiganders. I don't have anybody who's a friend of mine from over here anymore.
We're not going to be able to claim you anymore if you keep fucking
Would
wearing that
you
goddamn hat like
fix
that.
for
Jesus
God's sake.
Christ.
What in the world did you do?
I don't know.
don't
It's like
know.
a goddamn abortion.
I don't know what I did. I broke it.
We instantly lost 50 people watching us because he couldn't operate the chromer.
Yeah,
I
no
know,
doubt.
I know. It's all right. My bad.
The ratings just went down, Doug.
Yeah.
Time to call this herd.
It's true.
Call this third.
It's true. So, didn't somebody have a dog training question? Because
Yeah, Billy Hahn.
we have one guy who's a decent dog trainer.
You guys need to know.
Yeah, not this one.
and it
Don't
ain't
ask
Ron.
this guy. I had to tell him last year to leave his damn whistle in the truck.
I've been very quiet. My old dog Morgan is stone deaf now, so I didn't have to say a damn word to her.
You know, I've told this story before, but I had a dog that I swear was deaf, but if I opened up a wrapper of cheese, you could hear from three floors away.
100%.
I don't think that they are actually deaf. I think that they
Selective
just
hearing.
pretend it.
Select. It's
And they're
100%
like,
selective.
oh, if I just sit here, they'll think I can't.
What it goes to is Dave Dean's old saying that the dog is saying, "Talk to my ass. My head hurts from listening to you."
That's it. That's it. So, did you get the question, Doug? For God's sake.
No,
are
he
you?
never posted it.
Oh.
He never actually posted a question.
Oh.
Yeah, if anybody's got an intelligent question, please bring it on. I'd be glad to defer to Nate.
There's no such thing as stupid questions, just stupid people.
Yeah.
What I was taught.
So, Brent, I got a question for you about dog training. How do you train a dog to go and find birds like that little Hattie dog of yours? Because I would like to have one of those. If you could teach me how to find one of those.
Yeah.
Well, wait. Hold on, Tyler. You got to kind of describe what you're asking because.
Well, so she is she's a 100% bird magnet. Every time you drop the tailgate and that dog hits the field, you are going to find birds. Like, it doesn't matter. And on top of that, not only is she going to find birds, but she's going to handle them properly.
You think you can train
That's a
that?
good little dog.
Yep.
No.
What kind of dog is it?
That's natural.
I'm blowing some sunshine
Yeah.
with his butthole because
Well,
I appreciate that. I need that after my bluegrass hunt.
it was tough. But you handled that rough grouse that Tyler got that once again had a little eggshell on it.
Yep.
But handled that.
you guys can make fun of me for that, but that was like shooting a bobwhite in timber. That thing was teeny. That was the smallest rough grouse I've ever seen in my life. I think it was hatched 16 days ago, and that was its first one. But I had a gap in the trees that was this big, and I smashed that bird.
A mature robin is bigger than that bird.
Oh, yeah.
100% fact.
Maybe an immature.
100% fact.
Oh.
Doug, I
I
sent
think
you.
a band on the tail. There wasn't even a band.
It was a stub. There was no tail.
You sent it to me.
There's a Brent actually cracked an egg to feed his dog and put the eggshell on its head, and it looks
send you-
long there.
I'll go see if I can find it. So there was a question that came up. How do you any tricks for cooling off dogs quickly in an early season hunt? And I'll tell you that I stole what Nate's got in his trucks. I went out and bought a water port, and it was the best investment of my entire life.
Yeah.
So it's a 5-gallon tank, pressurized.
3.5 gallon. Ain't it?
3.5 gallon. You're right.
3.5. Yep.
And it's pressurized. And
What's the brand?
What's that?
What's the brand?
Or waterport.
Waterport.
Yep.
That thing's awesome.
It's amazing.
It's
And
hand.
then I don't have the cool rail system in the back of my truck like Nate's got, but I do have the Reese hitch hooked up, so it is incredibly portable.
Yeah.
That thing is nice.
And I use it to spray the dogs down.
A little behind the scenes here. Nate was trying to get me and Brent to shower with it, and he was going to photograph us. And we told him that he needed to up his ante if he wanted to get that kind of sensuality.
I told Tyler that I would spray him off if saying I'm a maniac like Tommy Boy.
I totally would have done it too. There it is.
Please. Oh,
There it is. That's
God.
a rough grouse
That's
of
a
all
rough
time,
grouse?
right? Yeah,
That's a grouse.
Poor little baby.
Wait a minute.
That's a-
Hold on, that's a grouse.
that's a grouse.
Come
Here,
on.
I'll
That's
show
like a
you
Mearns
the actual
quail.
picture.
Come on.
Oh my God!
Mr. Lee's Bob White's bigger than that.
Yeah, it was teeny. But like in my defense, best shot I've ever made because that bird flushed very fast, and if I would have not shot it when I did, I would have had to kill Nate.
Well, yeah, because you would have been
I'm
swinging
not
right
sure
on
if
me.
it flushed or if it fell out of the nest.
It could have been either one.
Nate, you got a picture of your
But either way, it was dead.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
That's like, yeah, the eggshell.
These guys are assholes.
Nate, you got a picture of the water port in any of your pictures?
What's that?
You got a picture of the water port?
Yeah. I can find it for you.
I didn't take any, but we got a couple people asking.
You also should, Nate. You should also send him that picture that you took of Brent because as homely as Brent is, that's the best picture that's ever been taken of a person in the field ever. Like that was seriously one of the coolest pictures of all time. And when Nate was riding back with me, we were going back to meet those guys at the bar and have some dinner, and he's like, he just pulled it up, and that was legitimately the color that it came out at. Like there was almost no filter there. It was like the sky was incredible. It was it was a really cool picture.
That was a cool night. Yeah, just
it really was.
Gray. Yeah.
I don't know if you guys can see it very well in that picture.
Yeah, it doesn't really show up all that well. It's on the side of his trailer right now. It works really good. You can actually have like a shower or like almost like if you have like a spray nozzle for your sink, like you can actually select if it's going to be a jet or a spray nozzle or whatever, and like you pump it up and you use it to clean off your hands, birds.
You don't even need to pump it up. It pressurizes when you fill it.
Oh well, see, I never used it when it was
When
full.
you fill it, yeah. After trip, I've been pumping it, Doug, just because it's I lose some pressure throughout bouncing around through the mountains. But other than that, when you fill it up, it does stay pressurized pretty well. And Ron's seen it at the ground too. It's just like that.
It's nice, man. It's out on his trailer. We'll show you.
That's pretty cool.
You know,
Yeah.
I want to go back to you talking about Hattie and some of this genetics.
She's right there.
Oh, she made it out.
Your question was like, how does she find birds? Sometimes, the genetics, there's some birds that just concentrate on the job. They just, now the obedience for the steadiness is all on Brent. But there are some dogs that just have a purpose that other dogs fail at. Not fail, but they just they fail. Okay.
Right.
It's one of those things for sure that so I call it the bird magnet gene. You can't train it. There's nothing that you can train that's ever going to teach a dog to do it. But when you get one of those dogs, like Hattie, like Rusty, like some other dogs.
Wait. We didn't say Rusty. We're talking.
No, I did. Uncle Ron, Rusty is going to come over there. He's going to pee on your tire.
I believe that.
It's like the one trait that you just can't train a dog. And I was talking to somebody about that earlier. So Rusty's dad, Ace, you hunted with Ace. Ace was a bird magnet. Didn't matter where he ran in the field, he just always found birds. Didn't matter until he was 15 years old. Rusty's mom is a very well-bred setter out of the grouse ridge line of dogs out of the East Coast. And she's a great dog. She never had that gene. Like if she found birds, she handled them. But like whenever you let Hattie go, something's going to happen. Like she is going to find birds on like 90% of her runs. It seems like it really does seem like that. She's a really good little dog.
Yeah, and you can't predict it. You can't pick it out of a litter.
No,
well, you know what it's like. It's like sports. Like everybody here, other than me, but back up when we were all 15, we could have all played scrimmage football, but there was one or two kids that it was like in their genes.
Yeah,
it's the same with dogs. There's and not with retrieving, but there's some of them. They're just
it's an intangible. It's something that it's just an extra thing.
Right. And other dogs will find birds, a whole bird. You can train those dogs. There are some birds that they're never out there just running. They're literally out. Because let's be honest, a lot of our dogs sometimes are just running. Right. And then they find scent and they point a bird. But there's some dogs that are like possessed to find the next bird. Those are the ones that win at the Ames plantation. Those are the ones that, they just, I see it in puppy test. We'll see a puppy that we're not even super impressed with anything else, but in 20 minutes in the field, it finds 7 or 8 birds. And we only put 5 fucking birds out.
Right.
And it finds either the birds from Friday night that somebody was training on, or it's the third dog, and it cleans. There's just some dogs that just, I don't know how to explain it.
It's just that X factor. And so when I was growing up, I was always told that every person's only entitled to so many good bird dogs over the course of their life. And it was you, Ron, who told me that's not correct.
I don't buy that.
But I think that is what that means is that people are only entitled to so many of those dogs over the course of their life.
I think it's just that so many, those dogs are so rare that you may only get one.
Sure, 100%.
But there's dogs out, and I've talked with Justin about this countless hours. He says, yeah, I got good bird dogs. But he says he'll remember 1 or 2 dogs, and he's been at it 30 years. 1 or 2 dogs, like, how do they just like, oh, there's a bird here. Oh, there's a bird here. So I think the rest of them are like amateurs, but they're damn good dogs. And there's some of them, and they don't, you can't reproduce it. You can't breed it.
Right.
You just get one that's like.
This is a really good question. And so when Pike comes back in, we'll have him talk about his one little dog that was up here last year. But also, I mean, Brent and Ron, you guys have seen a lot of dogs. I like Brent's an apprentice judge with NAVDA right now. Ron's a senior judge. Even though there's been some debate in the last week or whether or not he deserves that title.
Let me clear that up. When they appointed senior judge in my day, you just got the nod like you got a union card.
You just bumped fists and you were a judge.
Now you have to go through a process.
Bar and you bought the round, so then they bam, you were a senior judge.
Right.
Hey, Doug, put that question back up, and I'd really like to hear Kroll and Ron answer that, and then I'd like to have Pike take a stab at that too, because this is a legitimate question, and there is an age where they just may not cut it, or a number of birds.
That's you. You want me to start?
Yeah, sure. That's you. Sure.
So I just rehomed a young pointer of mine that I really liked. I mean, he was really a nice dog, sweetheart, easy in the kennel, good in the house, love my kids. But she just was not a wild bird finder. She was, finding the preserves. You put pigeons out for her. She goes out there, looks like $1 million. Ran with great intensity and style, and she was 2. And I probably should have gotten rid of her a year ago. Ron knows I work with Justin McGrail, and we've had concerns about her for about a year. And I said, well, I'm going to spend some more time on her and put her into some more birds and see what I can do. And
she struggled out here last year.
She struggled out here last year. She struggled in the Grousewoods this fall. At a year and a half, she struggled in Oklahoma. She found a couple cubbies, but and Justin says that, listen, a dog can't be that unlucky that often.
Right.
And, and that's just, it just came down to the point that's like, I only have room in my house for 4 dogs.
Sure.
And, she just,
that's a hard decision.
It was really hard. It was terrible. I hated to do it, and it really, and it screwed up my rotation. I try to get a dog every 2 to 3 years. And, but I had a German short hair that he lived about 13, a nice, beautiful, well-bred dog. This dog, 7 out of the 8 dogs in that litter ended up being either UT or VCs in NAVDA. He was the one that did, and I didn't do anything with NAVDA with him, but he was just never a good bird finder. I mean, again, looked like $1 million out there. And if he ran across a bird, he'd point it, no problem. But I brought he and my dog Morgan, she's 12 now, out in the spring one time to go find spring woodcock. She found 23, and she was 2 years old. He found 1.
Sure.
He was 7.
Right.
So
Right.
I mean, it's just some dogs are bird finders, some aren't. And I mean, I would say if you have questions in a year, you know, depending on your breed, I mean, I think, you know, short hairs, pointers, setters, you know, typically a year and a half, if you're not seeing a dog's a bird finder, I think it's time to maybe, you know, find the dog a new home. I mean, and you know, that's what I would say. So that's you know, and I'll do that from the future on. I mean, I think I made the call even too late on this dog. And so I just picked up a puppy last week, and you know,
and like you said, though, I mean, like when she goes to where she went to, the guy hunts preserves a few times a year. She's going to be a fantastic.
Oh, she's a great dog for that.
that.
Oh yeah, I mean, and the guy loves her, you know, and she'll put some woodcock for him and stuff like that if he does that. And you know, I mean, you know, a dog can be a superstar in a preserve.
So on the reverse side of that, I got to hunt one of the last year that Brent Kroll's dog Coop was alive. And you want to talk like when I met when I first started hanging out with Craig Jones. That's how I met Brent, and we let your dog Coop down, and Brent's like, just get ready. And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, this dog's a grouse savant. Like, and he legitimately was, Brent.
Yeah, he was
rare.
He was a pound dog, and he was not a grouse finder until he was 8 years old. I mean, I suffered many years because when I get a dog, it's a pet, and it's you know, and it's my hunting partner, but it's also, I mean, it's my child. You know, we live with the dog every day. We love that dog. There's no way I could get rid of a dog. And if I wanted to, my wife would say, no, you're not getting rid of this dog. So
you're the only person here that has to convince his wife not to get more dogs.
No.
He always wants another puppy.
100%. You would get rid of him in a heartbeat.
No. His wife wants to get more dogs.
Yeah. No, my wife wanted to get rid of them.
I got you.
Ready for another puppy? Let's just keep going with what we got. Let's wait a little bit longer. But Cooper was a pound dog that we got just to keep our other dog, who was a puppy, so somebody to play with, and those two grew up together. She was a great bird dog from day one. He was not. She died at like 5 years old of a aneurysm, and then and at 8 years old, all of a sudden on one hunt in the UP, a light bulb switched, and that dog turned into the grouse findingest dog I've ever seen. And Craig Jones, the first time he hunted behind him, it's like, you got to watch this dog track grouse. He just slowly, methodically walked through the woods, but the second he cut a track, it was like a beagle. He followed it and he followed it, and he never pressured it too hard. And he followed it, and when that grouse went up, it went up within 10 yards of you every time. You were presented a shot. And so we killed grouse after that dog, over that dog. But he was never a bird finder in that first. We killed woodcock over him, but you can get any dog to kill. You can kill woodcock over any dog, you know.
Right,
that's true.
Poodle and train it to hunt. So
the grouse is certainly a different animal.
The grouse is a different animal. The grouse has an intelligence that the woodcock just doesn't have. So
they have an avoidant.
Upside down.
And this is coming from me, who just watched two of his dogs in northwest Montana bounce off trees like they were playing pinball. And one dog, CJ, who I had to stop in the middle of the trail and call her back when she was 328 yards away. So grouse hunting is a different freaking animal when it comes to bird dogs for most people. But yeah, I mean, like grouse to woodcock, it's definitely different.
You know, it's a lot easier for someone from the Midwest to bring, you know, have a dog range out than it is from someone from out here to have their dog.
We talked about that a lot in the last week. I mean, it's like my dogs are used to hunting at a range that most people in the grouse woods would think is completely insane. And there's definitely a learning curve there for them to shorten up. like Rusty. Well, there was no there. I never felt threatened by a grizzly bear in Northwest Montana, because if we were going through the woods and I had one of my dogs down, and the amount of noise that they were making running into trees and shit, if that bear didn't get out of our way, then it had malice in its heart. So I was never really all that, because I mean, like, CJ is a 38-pound dog, and she was going through there like a herd of friggin' elephants. It was terrible.
There was no weaving going on. It was just
they're just going, straight, yeah.
So here's the Lily Hans. Pup is handing out some lazy points. His prey drive is still normal, but at the pigeon box.
That's it.
Right there. Pigeon box. In this last week of Huns and Sharps, he seems to lose interest. How do you repair this?
Get away from pigeons.
Yeah, quick! Don't show that dog another pigeon.
Well,
he says
what kind of dog is it? I think we need a follow-up question. What kind of dog is it? How old?
Well, if it's still not doing it on Huns and Sharpies,
That's
the pigeon box may not be exactly the issue.
Correct. Yeah. How old is the dog, and what breed is it?
Right.
My get and I mean, like, so, like Brent said, this is kind of an incomplete question a little bit, but I would be a little bit concerned that maybe there was a little bit too much pressure put on it on pigeons.
That would be
my first.
It's rare to have a dog lose interest on wild birds.
Right.
Doesn't pressure with birds? It doesn't make sense for it to lose interest on birds.
Yeah.
You know, if it's birdie enough, then those wild birds should still pique its interest. The pigeons are one thing, but if it's doing it on both, then I would say that maybe there's some pressure added, and there needs to be something corrected there.
If it's
I want to share something that
for a wild bird right now.
I have podcasts. Tyler gets it. I get it. You get a ton of questions, and everybody knows I'm not a dog trainer, but I've trained dogs to a certain level. But I had a guy the other day. He wrote me. He's I got a 3.5-month-old Brittany. I'm having a hard time getting him to heel, and I'm like,
3.5 months.
Who gives a shit?
I'm like, yeah, we don't need to work on that. And he says, and I'm having a problem finding birds that I can get my dog in front of. And I told the guy, I says, here's my number, call me. And I'm sure you guys get it too. He's like, oh my God, I can't believe you gave me your phone number. I said, well, if you look on Facebook, my phone number's out.
Yeah.
But so I talked to the guy, and this is how I started off. I said, because he's worried that he doesn't get his dog in front of birds, right? It's way too young to worry about it. But in general, whether it's 6 months, 8 months, 9 months, people worry about getting the dog in front of birds. And I said to this guy, and this is a 100% true story. I said, I don't know you at all, but I got to ask you one question. I said, are you gay?
Jesus.
Keep going.
And he says, well, no. I said, hey, I the same answer is going to apply to this. I just want to know if you're gay, then I'm going to change the answer a little bit. But when you were 3 to 5 years old, 7 years old, did your dad throw a Playboy magazine in front of you to make sure that you would like naked women?
Nice save.
He's like, no. I said, your dog is genetically wired to love birds.
Yeah.
You don't need to get this dog into birds early.
Right. When you were out here, Ron, do you remember that story that McGrail told us about that guy who called him about that 12-week-old lab puppy? And he was really concerned because a 12-week-old lab wouldn't swim yet.
Right.
And Justin told him, he's like,
12 weeks.
He called him in April. And he's like,
the water's freaking cold.
Really cold. And he's 3 months old.
Yeah.
Like,
so I mean, all these 90% of these questions, like you don't need to show a dog a bird early, and you don't need to worry about a dog's performance early. But to his question, when do you give up? I mean, if you're that new at it, I would go to a trainer or somebody in NAV that will give you a good opinion. But there's a lot of late bloomers out there, and this goes back to people, and I think dogs or puppies and kids are the same. my daughter Jessie, when she was 7, 8, 9 years old, if somebody came to our house, she'd look at the ground. She wasn't ready. And my twins would look at, hey, how you doing? I'm Ron's daughter, And Jessie was shy. Jessie now runs online dietitian courses with people she doesn't know and goes to events and does public speaking. So same with dogs. Don't judge it too early.
And Han, so he said he's got a 1-year-old Brit.
Yeah, and
he did great last year. And I'm wondering if maybe just over the course of between last year and this year, he's just seen too many pen-raised birds. My dogs get super sloppy when they get tons of pen-raised birds. And you got to take them out of the equation and go back to wild birds.
The other thing that I will say, especially on male dogs, and me and Brent and Nate talked about this quite a bit in the last week, is that male dogs, it seems like they mature a little bit slower than females. And so females are going to push you really early. Like this little female dog that I got here right now, she just drives me crazy. And she doesn't want to listen. 3 weeks ago or a month ago, she was fine. Now she's not. But when male dogs turn about that second season, they go through like a little adolescent FU kind of stage where it's like it just seems like those males, it takes them that long to mature. And then so like with Rusty, you would have thought, and I wish Ron would have got to see him the first year, but he was steady enough his first year when he was 14 months old for a flushing dog to get in front of him and move the bird, and he wouldn't break point. I got videos of it.
My pointer's like that.
The second year, that dog acted like he'd never smelt a bird ever. And then the third year, he kind of settled into kind of his, like the normal that he's been doing ever since. But it really does seem like that second year for male dogs is not a banner year. And I don't know if that's like all the way across the board, but it does seem like they kind of have that little adolescent streak.
I would say it's not male, female, but I think it's a good barometer. So like you just, there's the dog that's the phenom, but yeah, in general, it's a marathon. It's not a race. Just take it easy with them.
Well, and I think you can't just say you got to look at the aggregate. You got to look and say, all right, what did this dog? If this dog was a firecracker at 6 months and then kind of regressed, there's a difference there. Like my pointer just never really was a bird finder ever. For 2 years.
Sure.
If I had a dog that showed me something really good at 6 months and wasn't great at a year,
right,
I'd give it another year.
Right. And like he's saying too, is that it's not that the dog's not finding and pointing birds. It just doesn't have a ton of intensity.
Yeah.
So that certainly, and I think that Doug's point is probably pretty well taken. I think Nate said it too, is that just don't show it any more pen-raised birds for a while. Yeah. And see if it just comes around. I mean, like if it's stopping and doing everything else right, intensity may come back, or else at the same time, what did Bodo say? Like the point from the nose to the back of the head, right? Like the rest is all just kind of.
Well, then another question I'd like to know is it flinching or is it stopping? Is it giving a half point? Is it? I mean, what's
tail being down?
Yeah. Are you rolling around birds? Are you correcting the dog to? I mean, let them young dogs chase birds. I mean, people, they.
Is that a cherry?
Yeah, it is a cherry.
It's a cherry. It's a really good one too.
Does it have a pit in it?
It does not.
No, it's a really good one. Which he hates. Yeah, it's a good one.
And I think the key is just don't put too much pressure on those young dogs with birds. I certainly work on training my dogs, but I don't put a ton of pressure on them on birds until they're 2. We woe break them without any birds. They learn what woe is, they learn how to heel, they learn, kennel manners, all that other stuff. But, as far as, bird, breaking a dog out, you got to either be, slow and steady. And we've seen a lot of good dogs get ruined really early because guys are, it's doing this, it's doing that. And, they forget that, a 12-month-old dog is like a 5-year-old kid, they're just a baby. Just, don't let them have a lot of fun. And, you can put those extra manners into them a little bit later on and, they'll figure things out.
Also remember, none of us are pro trainers.
Yeah.
We don't have any idea what we're talking
right.
about.
Well, also, like we were talking yesterday, is if they're putting collar pressure on a dog when it's finding birds, that's gonna ruin it real quick.
Yeah, we were talking about that with one of your buddies, right, Brent?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Don't put collar pressure. If they're finding birds, let them find birds.
Yep. Yep. That's a big thing, and he got this dog from a pro trainer, and
finished dog said, but
yeah. Yeah, and a finished dog on pen raised bob whites and pigeons is different than what Tyler, myself, you guys are looking for, and Ron are looking for in a wild bird dog. There's a big difference between being able to go out and point and hold huns, chuckers, pheasants, rough grouse, which I think are the toughest bird for a dog to really be able to handle. At least Great Lakes rough grouse are the toughest bird for a dog to handle. A lot different than going out and finding, some pen-raised quail or pen-raised pheasants.
I don't know about that. The Northwest Montana rough grouse, when we shot them out of trees, it was hard for the dog steady. It was really hard.
Brent did say Great Lakes rough grouse, so he made it clear. He made it clear.
I do think because there is a difference.
Right.
Yeah.
Put it this way.
Having hunted Michigan and Minnesota, I would say that Michigan grouse are tougher than Minnesota grouse. In northern lower Michigan grouse are tougher than the upper peninsula grouse.
I would say that the northern lower rough grouse and the Kansas January ringneck, the two hardest birds to hunt on the freaking planet.
Yeah.
Because millions of dogs. Yes.
You put enough pressure on these birds, they will adapt. They're not worried about hawks and foxes anymore. They've associated us and dogs with pressure, and they're out of there.
Right.
They're out of there.
So we're down to like 13 minutes, and I know that that Doug has absolutely zero hunting experience so far this year, and Ron has zero actual. Well, he has very little hunting experience other than the dove shoot that was not great. But Ron was out here running dogs for a week. So to end this thing, we have the three of us, Brent and Nate, and then Ron. Let's talk about our favorite moments of the 2020 season so far, because I know that for me, Brent and Nate, we've had a crazy 10 days. And you guys have just got here, but you guys have done some stuff in the last couple days, and there's a lot more stuff coming up. And then
I've got good ones.
And then on top of that, me and Ron, I'll tell you right now, there's people out there that aren't going to believe this because of the bitching I just did about the sage grouse hunt. But I had more fun running dogs with Ron and not shooting than I did like that. It was, we just had a good time.
It's hard not to have fun with Ron. I mean,
well, there's definitely that, but we've seen a lot of birds. We got to see some really good dog work though too. And during the off season when we're out there just kind of running, it was fun. I mean, we got to see some cool shit.
Well, what I saw was, let's be honest. I mean, some of us here have trained a dog for a test level, and then keeping that dog at a test level for hunting is difficult.
Sure.
Impossible. I watch from Justin. I was watching his dogs in December. In fact, there's one short hair in particular that this dog was a typical dog. He moved in. He flushed a grouse. Nobody could have, or flushed a bunch of quail at Justin's. And the work he did, and it was not a lot of work. It was not like we put in 2 hours a day. He put an hour here, a half hour here. He worked the woad with this dog, and we've got him on film where this little short hair got into a covey of sharp tails. He watched one fly away. He watched another one fly away. Justin's doing a blink gun, and then the dog kind of lost it for like a second, and the dog recouped. And I was just so impressed with. I want to go out preseason next year again.
Yeah.
It's not that I don't want to kill birds. I mean, everybody wants to kill birds.
Sure.
I loved watching that dog progress from last December to August on these birds. It was so amazing. And I always used to kind of wonder, like, why do these guys go out there with their field trial dogs? Why do they go out there and run these young birds what they go there for is you cannot mimic that kind of steadiness training in your backyard or field or Justin's field. You got to have wild birds that do it. And I'm not saying I'm going to hang up my shotgun. I'm going to go out there and kill some birds. But I love the fact that you take a dog that this dog in particular he never had a season. And I watched this dog go from taking birds out to standing there watching birds fly away. Now, a whole nother level is shooting a bird, but I cannot. I guess the message I'm saying is patience. Just have some patience.
So now that you said that, the best way for me to think about progressing this is to have Nate and Brent talk about this, because those two Nate specifically was training for a test this year to that level. And Brent has taken 2 dogs. He's got 2 VCs, another utility prize, 1 dog, and that little Hattie dog that we were just talking about. So you talk about going from what you were just talking about to what these guys have been doing this fall so far.
Yeah.
Now,
So
I got to ask.
yeah,
I got to ask Brett. Now, Nate just passed his dog in UT, and of course, he gave us some money in an envelope before the test, so he passed.
I've been giving Brent the crap all week because he goes, well, I'm an apprentice judge. When people are asking, I said, I know, because you would have gave Tika a prize too. That's how I know you're still an apprentice judge, because we ended up with a prize 1. So that's how I know.
I want to ask Brent. Brent's gone all the way to the invitation with dogs. When you're hunting, Brent, are you holding him to that same standard to where you release to the fall bird?
You're either going to hunt or you're going to train, and you can't do the two at the same time. So, what you train summer long is this perfect steadiness, and then it just falls apart as soon as hunting season starts. And you hope to have some semblance of some steadiness as the season goes, but it gets worse all through season. And then you start over, and if I were willing to watch birds fly away and just continue this training, I could make it better.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I'm not. I train dogs so that I have a decent hunting companion, and then we go hunt. And what happens on the hunt, it's us hunting, and I'm not going to train again until the following year. And some people will want a little bit more than that. And I want more than that during the summer. But when the fall comes, I have what I got from the rest of the year. And we are just going to hunt. That's all we're going to do is hunt.
Right.
And it is what it is.
And to me, what I'm reading from that is, that when your dog points a bird, if nothing else, even if you went back 3 steps from steady to wing shot and fall, you've got a dog that's handling birds that you can initiate the flush in good terms.
So do you want a little anecdote from yesterday or from 2 days ago, Ron? That's a perfect anecdote. So Brent's dog Lucy is a perfect score VC dog. Yeah. And she got injured on her very first walk this year. We think she broke her toe. And 2 days ago, we decided we wanted to try to take her out on a very short walk for hunts. And we ended up getting her on, and she goes on pointing towards this road. Me and Brent and Nate, we walk up to the road, and here comes this semi driving by. So we stand there, the dog stands point. Then we walk all the way up to the road. What's that?
At 5 miles an hour, we waited for that truck to go by.
Which was good, though, because he saw that we had dogs. So.
It's true, yep. Yeah. And Ron, it was right by that bush right over here south of my house that we got taffy on that big covey. It was that same covey.
Yeah.
And so we wait for the truck to pass. The dog stands on point. We walk all the way through the ditch. Dog never moves. And we get up on top of the road, and we're like, well, maybe the birds are on the other side of the road. There they go. Shot a bird. So that dog, it doesn't matter, if she moved after the flush, in my opinion, because those birds were in front of us and 20 yards in front of her.
Right.
I mean, like she did everything exactly perfect, and we ended up getting a bird because of it.
Yeah. And that's what I love about the system is you kind of train for the test, but when you hunt, you got a reliable dog.
Right.
You got a reliable
If I
dog.
would have trained to a much lower level, then it would be half of what that lower level would have been trained to.
Yeah.
So,
Or we could end up with a dog almost getting run over by a semi on the road.
yeah.
I mean, like it could have been that.
Yeah.
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 So-
you train for a high level and you accept about half of that during the hunting season.
Right.
And that's what it is. And if you decide that you need more than that for your hunting season, well, then you're not going to hunt and you're going to train while you're hunting.
Right.
So that's what you're going to do during your hunting season. But me, I'm going to kill birds, and I'm not, and training be damned at that point in time. We'll worry about this next spring again.
Sure.
Right. But the beauty of it is when you get a dog trained at that level, you can hunt it anywhere, and you're going to get you can't count on birds, but typically you're going to get your shot at that bird. That dog did everything it could to help you find the bird.
Yeah.
And it's up to you to hit the bird. It doesn't matter if they're steady to wing shot and fall, but they will always let you do your work. They're and I don't want to pick on Paul, but what you don't
he's an easy target.
But what you don't want is a dog that when you start looking for the bird, the dog that just goes like, "Let me help you."
Right.
No. And that's what, like, when you go to that test and you get that score and you get that VC, that's a great dog, but it's really about, in the end, all you're going to do is you want a dog that lets you take a shot at the bird.
Hey, Doug, can you mute Ron for a few minutes so the rest of us can answer the question?
Now, what I have done with the two older dogs since we passed is I've gone to more of like the European style where they establish point. You go in there, you try and flush, and if you can't flush or if it's really thick, I release them to go in and flush, and then. And I'm okay with that. And you can't do that before you do that because then you got to try to pull that all out of them. But at this point in time, I have no more testing to be done. So I would just assume when we go in and I'm in a big bramble or a big blowdown and there's a grouse in there, I'm not going to go kick around. I'm going to stand out where I got a decent shot and I'm going to release the dog to go in there and flush it at that point in time.
So that's actually going to come around to my favorite moment of the fall so far, which happened with you guys a couple days ago on Sunday. But so Brent, what has been your favorite part of this fall so far? What's your favorite moment?
My favorite hunt was ironically the bluegrass hunt, even though I was unsuccessful on our bluegrass hunt. There was a lot of action on that hunt. There was some fantastic dog work on those hunts. And we got 3 people who had never shot bluegrouse before. Multiple,
4.
You're
right. 3. Yeah, they're right there.
And then you had 2,
and you got a
you
limit.
got your limit.
So we got 7 bluegrouse shot by people who had never shot bluegrouse before. Right. That was a freaking awesome day.
The other cool part about that though is that the last time you hunted that was with Craig.
Yeah.
Like you guys found that spot 2 years ago, and when we went back up there, we camped almost in the same campsite, and we went back up and shot birds in the same spot.
Yes.
Yeah.
The scenery was perfect.
Weather was great.
Brought back a lot of memories, but then also it was like, we did the legwork so that you guys could get in there and get some freaking birds.
That's why I never went the first time. I didn't want to do the legwork.
Yeah.
I had to wait till you guys did all the legwork and then go up there and shoot the easy
ones. A lot of days to find those spots. So it was and I think that's what pissed me off was just that, all right, I'm in this game but it was my own fault. I did some really crappy shooting and I just it didn't work out. So it is. it was what it was. But it was a great hunt. I loved the whole hunt, other than the fact that I didn't come back with the bird.
Sure. Nate, what's yours? How about yours, Nate?
Oh yeah, no, I'll make it quick a little bit, but leaning on that whole training all summer and getting a dog ready for a test, and then the test is over. We did well, and then going out in the field with you guys, and then that first run on that sage grouse, she handled that just like it was the test. It was incredible to watch that first one. You know, she locked up on point. It was cool to have a crowd because I had that couple that was down there watching me on the road, and that bird went up. It was actually two. I shot the first one, knocked it down. The other one I shot again. That one kept flying. My dog didn't move once. I actually had to release her to get to fetch, and she fetched it, brought it back to hand. They're cheering in the background. That was a blast. I mean, now since then, her steadiness as far as pointing has been great, but after the flush. Just like we talked about, we're hunting now, and she's noticed I'm not correcting her if she's moving, and we're getting a little chase out of her, and it is what it is. But God, it bums you out a little bit. But good dog work overall. But that was my favorite moment. Overall, that was my favorite moment. But my favorite overall is probably just being out here. This whole experience with you guys. It's been awesome doing all these different species in 1 week. It's crazy, and it's been.
You shot 7 species in a week.
Yeah, it's been incredible.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Dave, how about you? Yeah, you.
So mostly I'm carrying the camera, and yesterday we went after some hunts, and after these guys got their limits, I didn't have a gun with me, so I just borrowed a quick side by side that
never shot before.
I've never shot before, and I'm terrible side by sides. And Brent's dog Maddie is, she'd already been working pretty good for birds. It was pretty impressive. And she ran down a fence row and went on point. And sure enough, a covey of huns went up and knocked one down out of that covey, and then kept hunting on, and she nailed another covey.
Nice.
Was it the same fence row?
Same fence row.
Fence row. She nailed another covey of huns and knocked one down out of that. And I double tapped that one because it didn't look like it was dead. And I probably could have had a double out of that one had I saved a shell. But I mean, for me, that's like, for not planning on hunting, that's like it for me.
And that's the crazy thing is that last year he was up here. He didn't shoot a gun until the last day, last walk. And then he's like, everybody else is almost limited out. He's like, hey, would you mind if I shot some birds on this walk over Bo? And it's like, yeah, no problem. So Bo goes over top of a hill, slams the point. He shoots a double. And then like 300 yards later, Bo goes on point again. He shoots his last one for a limit. He's like, okay, I'm good. So I've never seen this guy miss. And he said he's like you're what, like 6 for 6 on this trip?
I'm 5 for 5 on this trip.
I don't think he misses.
Here's the thing for me is, so yesterday I got 2 covey flushes on video with shots. And for me, that's the trip.
Sure.
If I can get that covey flush with the shots and the dog work,
right?
I don't care. I don't need to kill a bird.
Did you close your eyes when you pulled the trigger?
No, it was Todd's gun over there. I mean, I honestly I didn't think I was going to hit, but like for me, if I can get on a camera,
right,
that's perfect.
You're still shooting it.
I'm still shooting it,
yeah,
and
sure.
Those birds, for me, that's it.
Brent?
Yeah, probably for me, first walk. We got out here late Sunday night, and my old dog Morgan, this is her 12th season, so her 3rd decade actually hunting, and I always give her the first nod. Ever since she's a puppy, she's gotten first of opening day, and she went out. I put my setter Libby on the ground too. Libby found 3 flocks of sharp tails, and Morgan found one. Unfortunately, I brought up my old side by side for nostalgia, and Morgan and Libby both had 2 different flocks on point. Morgan had one down on the bottom, and Libby had one up on top, and we managed to miss all birds. I believe there was 6 shots fired, not a feather drawn. I was so excited, like, I'm going to kill a bird over Morgan on her.
Yeah, that's why I keep on having you guys up, is because I don't have to actually worry about the birds.
No, they're probably in great shape.
Here. So, like, it makes me feel better because now I don't have to actually worry about you guys going to my spots.
If I had to have my auto loader, I'd have 3 down, but but nonetheless,
no, it was cool. Both dogs. I mean, it was cool. Both dogs were on point in their respective spots and held totally tight.
Yeah.
And we were able to shoot at both sets of birds.
Yeah, it was cool. I mean, and that's, for me, for an old dog like that she can still go out there and she doesn't hear worth the shit. She's never listened worth the shit, so it doesn't matter. But Justin always called her a black-hearted bitch, Sure. But she's a bird finder, and she found birds again. I've killed one over today. So I mean, I've killed birds over all my dog points on this trip, and to me, that's a trip.
That's good.
We're only 10 days into season. I actually I'm having a hard time picking just one, so I'm going to pick two because I can do that. So I will tell you that jumping off the bridge with you two fools, it was almost like a bonding experience at the end of like some sort of a mission.
Yeah.
That is going to be one of those moments that I'm going to remember more so than any other parts of that hunt. Just because it was when we got done, we're all high-fiving and we're all jacked up, and we're not even done with the hunt at this point. We still had a 3-hour drive to get to where we were going to stay, and then we were going to hunt one more day. But that's going to be something that I'm always going to remember, no matter how old I live to be. But I will tell you that as far as bird dog work and hunting goes, someday, me and Brent went out. It was me and Brent and Nate. Nate was just carrying a camera, and we put down Rusty and Tika, Brent's oldest dog and my oldest dog, and those two dogs absolutely lit it up. I mean, it was like Brent shot two right away off point that came up at his feet. We had right away when we got out of the truck, Rusty was on point. Tika was backing on a flock of sharptails. It was 50 yards off, and they flushed wild. Then I shot one off point from Rusty, and then I shot another one that Tika had pointed right in front of Brent. That just kind of literally he was walking. Tika went on point, bird went. He couldn't even shoot at it because he was screened. I shot that bird. But the bird that I'm never going to forget as long as I live is we're walking along the edge of that field, and Rusty goes on point where he turns, and Brent was talking about it earlier about trying to release a bird or release a dog to go and flush a bird. And he goes on point, and I'm kicking around, and I can't produce anything. And I'm like, maybe it's an old scent, whatever. And I'm like, all right, Rust. And he won't move. And I'm kicking around and nothing. And all of a sudden I see this little hole in the grass. And I was like, well, maybe it's where a sharptail roosted. Maybe there's some crap and feathers in there or whatever. And I move the grass with my foot, and I see feathers. And I stand, and I said, Brent, I'm standing on a sharptail. And at that moment, that sharptail went, and Brent shot it.
Nice.
And I've never seen a sharptail hold that tight in my life. I legitimately stood on the back of it. And after we got done, we were talking about it, and Brent's like, it's just like shooting training chuckers. I could have put my foot underneath that thing and kicked it out. It held that freaking tight.
Toe lift to lift it up. Toe lift to let it get up and out.
I'll never forget that as long as I live. And on top of that, Brent's got it on GoPro.
Oh, nice.
Yep.
So,
cool.
Doug, do you want anything that you want these heathens to do anything for you before we sign off? You're muted. For God's sakes.
Yeah, Doug, you're
God, I can't.
you're supposed to mute Ron.
Yes. How do we know that was what he was going to do? Yeah, so when we wait till we end this, I need you all to listen this time. Don't be putting shit in the comments now. Wait till it's ended. Write in what you hunted on opening day and what your success was on opening day, whether it was good or bad. But let's fill up the whole comment section with a bird report so put the state that you hunted in, what you were hunting, and how you guys did. Don't need to put the city or pins unless you want to send them to me directly.
Coordinates would be appreciated if we,
Certainly.
So the state, what you were hunting in success rate, but we are definitely past the 2 hour mark. So we are going to say goodbye.
Hold on, Doug, for 1 second.
Hold on.
Any of you guys that are Patreon patrons, tune into the Instagram live tomorrow with these guys, because we're going to do a giveaway for somebody to come up here where we're at right now next year and do a hunt with this group and myself. as well as
don't let that be a deterrent.
Right. Yeah, we won't let Brent put his dogs down. We'll help with mine. It'll be fine.
His dogs are fine. I've shot birds over his both. Well, two of his dogs today.
On top of that, the kicker for that is that he's going to kick in a $350 gift certificate to Pike Gear.
Wow.
So any kind of anything like that. So if you guys are Patreon patrons, pay attention.
And we'll have that live on your page and our
Instagram page. Yep.
Both of our
Live.
Instagram page will be Instagram live on Pike Gear and Birds, Blues, and Buzz.
It'll be tomorrow evening sometime after we get done hunting.
So we have to clarify that it's going to be Tyler's Patreon. It's not a.
Yeah, right.
So how do they find your Patreon account?
Patreon.com/B3 podcast.
There we go.
Say it one more time.
Patreon.com/B3 podcast.
There it is.
/.
So if you give
I'm a sponsor and I'm still a Patreon patron.
I know.
Yes.
That's why
Ron too.
That's why you're here.
Yes. and I was a Patreon patron long before I was a sponsor.
I know.
I mean, it's cheap entertainment, and it is. I mean, it is. These guys do a lot of work for their podcasts, and it's for 5, 10, 15, whatever you want to do a month.
For sure.
Fold them a little cash, guys.
Cheers, guys.
Salancha.
Happy hunting season, everybody.
All right. Have a good night, everybody.
Good night.
I love you guys. I love you girls.
Ron will still be on. Well,
Ron just
we'll
keeps
also be
talking
on.
and talking.
I'll be on.